Hello, this is the little deck that overlooks the garden, and the rascal and I sure love sitting on it and just taking it easy. A couple weeks ago I was pressure washing some chairs and I decided I would clean off this deck and resurface it. So that's what this video will be about. It'll be about me making this deck look brand new again. So let's get into this. Well, this is probably going to be a multi-series project. We'll start with this deck, one that overlooks the garden, and then we'll do the one behind the garage, and then the one the grill sits on, and then the one that you walk out to from the sliding glass doors. So I'll do 4 videos to keep it relatively short, and they're all in different states of disrepair. So the one I'm sitting on now is probably the best because it sits in the shade.
We're just going to jump right into it with me pressure washing. This deck was not very bad at all, so just a quick pressure washing and it's on to the next step.
This is what the deck looks like after you pressure wash it. You can see all the mold and mildews off of it, and for the most part the stain has stayed on the deck, but it's missing some. And this normally has 2 tables and a chair. Now it still needs some more work before I put a coat of deck seal on it. I'm going to have to lightly sand the whole thing. I'm going to have to take a knife and go through each one of the slats and get the crushed up little acorns out of it, and then it'll be ready to be stained again.
I've been using a DeWalt 6-inch orbital sander for years. I'll sand this deck twice, once with 80 grit and then once with 120 grit. After doing this on my decks for years, I have learned that the sealant adheres a lot better to the wood if you give it a light sand. So this deck's in really good shape. I've replaced the wood in years past and it's in the shade so it doesn't get sun beating down on it all the time. But when I do this, I don't forget the side and the edges. And then I'll replace my 80 grit with 120 and sand the deck again. I have an old butter knife I use to go in between each one of the boards and remove any acorns or any kind of debris that might be there. I follow that up by using my drill with a wire brush and just try to knock off any of the mold and mildew that might have built up between the boards. So the closer the deck is to the ground, the more you need to pay attention to the details. I'll make sure this is sanded and clean so the sealant sticks.
Oh, the reese feels nice. Well, now I've got my mask off and I can talk a little bit better. We've got it sanded. The next thing to do would be to take the leaf blower and blow all the sanded material off of it. And then we'll shake up that stain and put a coat of stain on it. And that should be it. Of course, we got a lot more decks to do. Anyway, back to my break.
I've had this bucket of semi-transparent stain for quite a few years, and about half of it was left after I got done doing the decks last time. When you buy it, they mix it up for you because they add the coloring to it. Since I've had it for so long, I'm going to go ahead and get my drill and my paint mixer, and I'm going to give it a good mixing to make sure there's no stain or sediment or materials on the bottom. I want it mixed thoroughly, and then we'll get started. It's water-based, and it's a lot more liquidy than normal paint, so be careful, it will splash around on you. I use the same pail year after year and just store it with whatever leftover sealant I have. I'm going to try to knock off any dirt off my shoes before I step up on the deck. I'm not going into any great detail on this deck because it's in such good shape. The other decks need more work, so if your deck is in bad shape, you might want to watch those videos. When I'm done, it's just a simple matter of cleaning the brush and my hands with water and then putting everything away.
So I hope you enjoyed that. It took a couple days to get it done because I had to let it dry after I pressure washed it and before I stained it. But it turned out okay. So with that said, like, subscribe, check out the playlist, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be another deck.